Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of I Think I'm Human Too. We have a very special human with us, Miss Kamie.
Hey.
Kamie reached out to me. Okay, so I was actually at a Galentine's weekend, right? And one of my best friends, her name is Anissa. And she was the one that I turned the screen around to. She was like, shut the fuck up. Because, mind you, she doesn't swear, or like her 2024 resolution was to not swear. It's not really going well. It's not going well for her. It's fine.
Yeah.
And she was like, no way. And she's actually here in LA with us right now. And she was like, of course, the one day you're going. It's like the one day I can't.
Oh my God, I would have loved to have met her.
She's just a baby. She's a great little gal.
Hello.
But so Kamie reached out to me and was like, I would love to have you on. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'm going to be in LA.
Yeah.
And you're always boot scooting around. So I'm happy this
boot
worked out.
scooting is definitely, that's my middle name.
No, literally.
Kamie Boot Scoot.
Kamie boot scooting. Kamie boot scooting.
I don't feel like I feel like my home is my dressing room / changing room. Like I'm just constantly unpacking a suitcase. There's always a suitcase in transit in my house.
Okay, I want to ask you that. How does that feel? humantoo listeners, I am so excited to share this with you guys. I shared over on my Instagram, on my personal Instagram a couple of days ago, my prebiotic daily symbiotic that I take. It's Seeds DSO1, and when I shared it, I got so many DMs from it, people asking like how I like it, what it helps with, and then if I notice like any stomach upset with it. And I'm so excited to share with you guys it over here as well. So Seeds DSO1 daily symbiotic I take every morning. It's 2 capsules. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's a prebiotic and probiotic, so things that those are good for, it can be your skin health, your gut health, your cardiovascular health. It just promotes better everything. So when my dad first passed, I shared again on Instagram that I went and got a bunch of lab works done and just things that I was lacking, and I really needed a probiotic in my diet. I've tried a couple other brands, but I kept seeing Seeds everywhere and I wanted to try them out for myself. I absolutely love them, and I'm super excited to be able to share a code with you guys as well. As humantoo listeners, you do get 25% off your first month supply of Seeds. Again, it is good for more than just your gut health. There's so many different benefits that come with it, and then overall, when your body's running smoother and is doing better, you just feel better. So if you've tried out Seeds, let me know how you like them. Again, humantoo listeners are going to get a code for the 25% off your first month. The code is seed.com/humantoo, and you're going to use code 25humantoo to get 25% off your first month. So again, that's 25% off your first month of Seeds DSO1 daily symbiotic, and that's seed.com/humantoo. Code is 25humantoo. So trust your gut with Seeds DSO1. Let me know how you like it, and happy listening.
Horrible.
So many people are like, your life is so cool, because we're always going too, and people are like, this is so great. And I'm like, yeah, I've prayed my whole life to be like, as a little girl, I was like, I want to travel, and now we're living it, and I'm like, it's such blessings, but I'm like, it comes at a cost.
Yes.
How do you do it? Because you're probably like way more.
It's a lot. I mean, I obviously travel for work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the host of the show Catfish, and we're like on-call doctors. We're filming year-round, so we don't have a filming schedule. I get a text, like I got one this morning, hey, we're filming these days in this place, like, see you there. And if it's a 2-state episode, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything. And even I don't know anything until we read the email. So we don't know where we're going. And even after we read the email, somebody could be talking to somebody in Minnesota, but in reality, they actually live in Michigan, and they lied about it. So now we got to go to Michigan. It's a whole thing. But basically, that being said, I'm always on the go. I always have a suitcase just like ready to go. Neve always has like a suitcase with like shirts and pants already packed.
Oh, I'm sure men are so much easier though.
So much. I'm like,
you're like, I need the body wash of the week. Hold on,
hello,
I have to pack for a second here.
What's the weather? Like, am I bringing open toe?
Do I need heels or sandals? like
I don't know.
Tennis shoes, boots.
Is this going to be in like in New York City? Like, can I sneak off to a cute dinner afterwards? Do I need to bring a dress? Like, I don't know what the options are, but
okay, so humanize that for me on that side, because again, a lot of people think it's glamorous. What is it really like doing? Because you're obviously do you consider that a dream job?
Yes, 1000%.
And
1000%.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But there, again, comes at a cost.
Yes. I think that people have this impression that when you are living your dream life or you have your dream job, like I always thought like, oh, once I have this thing, like that's going to be it. And I'm going to be so happy and like everything's going to be great after that. But that still comes with challenges and you still have other goals that you want to meet. Like just because I've met that goal doesn't mean that I don't have other goals.
Right.
So it is difficult. I think now, especially getting older, I'm 31 now. I started working on Catfish when I was 25.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy because people still don't even know there's a new host, bitch. They'll be like, oh, even Max. I'm like,
Who?
what?
Right.
What about me?
Last time I checked, my name is not Max.
What about me? But the people who know, and I love them. But I think when I was 25, you know, Catfish was like my big break. And so
Yeah.
I would have done anything at any time, dropped everything. I didn't really I was modeling full time at the time, but I wasn't working as a host in the way that I wanted to. I had done some like guest spots on E! News and like that was originally my dream when I moved to LA.
Why could I totally see you on E! News?
That was all I cared about in this world. When I first decided to move to LA, I was like, that was why I moved here. And then, you know, I got the opportunity for Catfish and I immediately knew that it was what I was meant to be doing. I was like, this is great. Like I'm working on one of my favorite shows, first of all, an iconic series. I get to help people. Like that's all I've ever wanted to do. So the opportunity, it was just like it was the perfect
Yeah, the stars
thing.
aligned.
It was the stars aligned, truly. And, you know, at the time we were traveling all over the place. I loved it. And then COVID hit and we started recording episodes from home. So Neve would be either in New York or I think he was in LA at some point. I think he was in LA for like the majority. And then when things opened up, him and his family went back to New York and that's where we were filming from. And I was filming from my apartment in LA. And of course, I think a lot of people changed during COVID. Like I just became way more of a homebody, like just loving being at home and like in my safe little sphere. And then I came out of COVID and, you know, I think I was 28 at that point, 29. And now I'm in my 30s and like I'm ready to settle down more in my life. Just I think where I'm at mentally is just a different place than I was when I was 25 for good reason, thank God.
Right.
Because I was in a bad place at 25. This is not the best place. But I will say that now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I don't have any kids, but like I'm nesting. Like I'm very much like nesting, you know?
Yeah.
So the human part of it is that it has become a lot more for me to just like get up and go because I've got plants. I've got like
not the plants.
Like what about the plants?
What about
like
the
I don't even have my dog anymore because we travel so much that I had to leave my dog with my parents, with his grandparents in Maryland, and like that was like a huge thing for me. So I think a lot of people see the travel and like I remember one time I posted about like 20 planes in 2 weeks because like literally I had been on that many flights.
And people are haters.
And
they're like, oh my God,
like,
you're complaining. It's
I
like,
would have loved to have taken 20 flights.
Right.
Really, bitch? Are you sure about that? You sure about that?
Right.
The radiation poisoning alone.
People just don't know. People don't know.
People don't know. And
the radiation poisoning.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like there's a lot that goes into it. I'm sorry. Airports are not fun.
Yeah.
Like unless I'm going on vacation, it's not fun to go to on a
MTV
6 a.m.
doesn't have
flight.
y'all on a private jet yet?
That's what we keep saying.
We need to talk.
That's what we keep
We
saying.
need to talk.
And like I'm flying first class. Yes, thank God. Like yes, very lavish luxe. Like we love that. But I'm staying at like a 1-star hotel that may or may not have bed bugs. Like it's not luxury. It's not giving luxury.
One I have to ask, how are people still getting catfished?
Everybody wants to know.
How?
And I too would like to know, but I also don't because
It keeps you employed.
exactly.
Yeah, we
Job
say the
security.
same thing. We
Job
say the same
security.
thing about stuff like that.
I think I always say this. I think that people just want to experience love.
Yeah.
And when you grow up in, you know, a lot of the towns that we go to for the show are towns with like one stoplight, like one middle school, one high school, one elementary school. So you've been around the same people your whole life, and your dating pool is this tiny, like super small, and your chance of meeting you're never going to meet anybody new. You go to Fridays every single Friday for like the turn up, and this is the same
Fridays.
people. I love Fridays. By
Not
the way.
Fridays. Their mott sticks are fire though. Shameless plug to TGI Fridays.
Their happy hour.
Fire.
Don't sleep on it.
Fire.
But like you are always around the same people all the time. So like the idea of talking to somebody who lives in New York City or Hollywood, like, is very appealing.
Yeah.
And if you have never been in a space like I was in New York for 8 years of my life. I've been in LA for 6. I'm around celebrities. I am close to, I don't like
You
the words.
are a celebrity.
I don't like that.
You know,
No.
being called one.
I'm just me.
Yeah, I say the same thing. When people are like,
Just-
"You're famous," I'm like, "Who?"
I'm just I.
Yeah.
Just me, her, she, her. That's just me.
So talking about people that are in the same hometown. So you moved, and that's a big move.
Yeah.
And you bet on yourself.
Yep.
And that's huge, especially as a single female moving across the country from everything you know. What was that like?
The most terrifying
Yeah.
decision that I had ever made in my entire life.
Especially you're going to a massive city.
Yeah.
Very expensive city.
Yeah.
When you moved, what was like, did you have an opportunity lined up here?
I had literally that same week of my move. So I had gotten a cold call email maybe 2 weeks before my move. Now, mind you, my move was during my quarter century life crisis. So I just turned 25. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Who am I going to be? I'm doing nothing. Like, I'm doing nothing, even though I was doing things.
Yeah.
But like,
We all think that.
we all think that.
I got married at 25. I was like, I'm a child bride. Yeah. Who signed off on this?
Literally. My sisters still say that if I get married now, I'm a child bride.
Yeah.
I'm 31.
I'm still terrified for the day that I have to call my mom and tell her I'm pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
She's
I'm
gonna know
gonna
I
be
had
grounded.
sex.
Right. I'm gonna be grounded. I always say the morbid thing, at least I don't have to tell my dad.
Yeah. Oh no.
I'm like, yes.
Oh my god. Well, he'll know first.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the
We're
one
not gonna
who's
think
gonna-
about that. He's not in the room with us, okay? You guys have no idea how much that affects the sex life right after death.
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, don't. Anyways.
I'm sure he cheerses you with espresso martinis after.
Oh, okay. No, he cheers his Rafi.
Good job.
He's just looking at me like, you little gal, you.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
Not us going completely left.
Very, very left. What was the question?
Okay, what did
The
you
move.
have? Yes. What did you have lined up here?
Oh, yes. So okay, so the week of my move, prior to that, like 2 weeks prior to that, or some change, I have no idea, I got a cold call email from someone at the casting department at the production company that produces Catfish. So MTV obviously is like where we air, but there's a third party production company that actually puts the show together and submits it to MTV.
Okay.
So I get an email from their casting department, and they're like, hey, would love to have you come on and co-host 2 episodes of the show if you're interested. It was someone that had seen me and known me from my pageant days.
We just moved to Texas and we are huge into hydration, especially now living in a really warm state. Summer was coming up in general. So every single day, I've told you guys this so many times, we keep Element on deck. You're going to see it in my purse. You're going to see it in one of our cars. Guaranteed we've got Element somewhere to be found within a close arm reach. We've got a couple of our friends hooked on Element. We absolutely love it. So if you have been wanting to try out a new hydration pack, I really suggest them. You can get a free sample pack with mixed purchase. Again, if you live in a warm state, you definitely will need it, but in general, everyone needs hydration. So again, that's a free sample pack with any drink mix purchase. You're going to go to Drink Element. So that's drink, DRINK, LMNT.com/humantoo. And again, that'll get you a free sample pack with your drink mix purchase. Let us know how you like it and stay happy, stay hydrated. Okay.
Which were very brief, but like I made an impact.
As you should.
And she was like, would love to have you come on and co-host 2 episodes. And I'm like,
I'm getting catfished by Catfish.
I'm getting human trafficked. I was like, this is human trafficking.
100%.
I'm going to go with it because I'm so
Can't wait to
desperate
live
for
this
a
out.
job.
Do it for the plot.
Like, I need a job. So I was like, I would love to. Fast forward to, I'm in New York. I'm literally packing up my apartment because it was like a Tuesday. And on Monday, my movers were coming.
Okay.
And I get an email from Catfish like, hey, we're going to fly you out to Iowa City tomorrow on this flight at this time. Here's all your information. See you in Iowa. And I remember bringing my phone to my mom, like, as we're packing up my life of the past.
Iowa, of all places, you're
Iowa.
definitely dying in. Yeah.
It's like, this is
straight up on the back of a truck.
This is it. Yeah. Hello. They're about to cattle me off.
Right,
I'm
right.
gone. Never see you again.
Yeah.
Bye, Mom. So I show her my phone, and she's like packing up a box, and she was like, Kamie, like,
You have to do
this is it. You have to do it.
Oh, I love her already.
And I was like, but what if it's not real? Like, I had been working as a host from age 19. I'm now 25. I've been working for a really long time and like hoping that something like this would happen.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I was like, and I was also in a mind frame of, I had just made this huge decision to move across the country away from majority of my family. And I didn't know if it was the right decision. I didn't know what. I was just like, I need to go and see, because in New York, it's just not happening for me here the way that I would like it to.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to be on E-News. So E-News was in LA, so I need to be in LA. So my mind was just like all over the place. And if you've ever moved, even if you move apartments in the same town, your mind when you're moving is not sane.
Yeah.
I was just like frazzled. So I go, and even on the flight there, I wasn't even thinking that I was going to shoot Catfish. I was just like, oh, I'm on the plane going to Iowa.
Yeah.
Here I am.
I definitely feel like that's
Iowa.
imposter syndrome for sure.
Yeah.
We were just like, this isn't me.
This
like, I don't
isn't
even
me.
know who this is. My
I was
body's just
hovering.
boot scooting around.
I was boot.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the boot scoot brigade.
Yeah.
I was like, just like, I was not in my own body. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I get there, and like I had drinks with the producers that night, and they're talking to me about the show, and I'm like, okay, well, all right, cool. I go to my hotel. I'm literally nothing is registering.
just all out of body.
It wasn't until the next day. On Catfish, by the way, we shoot year round, and we're always filming. So everything is always recorded. So they were already like filming. I walk into the room. I'm at the crafty table. I'm eating cubes of cheese. I'm just like, stuffing my face with grapes. And Neve walks in. And he's like immediately just like talking. He's like, we got our co-host today, blah, blah. And it wasn't until I saw him and like they panned the camera to me that I was like,
this cheese is really good.
no.
Whoever put the cheese in here, thank you.
No, I immediately was like, I'm going to shit myself. I'm going to shit
cheese
this
didn't
cheese
block you
right
out?
out.
Oh.
It's like everything's coming out. 'Cause I was like, I'm here. Like, I've arrived.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck am I doing? And then I immediately, as soon as we sat down in front of the computer, I was like, this is what I meant to do. And that was that.
So you didn't feel like a time frame, even though you had only had the 2 episodes, you didn't feel like you had a time frame of I got to prove myself. It just immediately felt like this is right.
It just felt like it was right. I felt
love
like
that.
I had to prove myself to Neve because this is his baby.
Yeah.
And like, this is what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm coming in as like this influencer pageant bitch. And I'm sure he was like, who is she? And like,
Yeah.
like, okay, she's been like hosting on local news, doing like best gifts for Mother's Day segments. Like,
Gotta start
cool.
somewhere. Everyone
Gotta
does.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I had that experience, but it's so different than what we do on Catfish because it's just so like,
Yeah.
it's just normal life. Like, it's very docu style. And yeah, I filmed that first episode in Iowa, flew home on the Sunday. Monday morning, the movers were there, and I was moving to LA that night. And when I got to LA, that was what I had lined up, was like the one other guest spot on the show.
Okay.
And when I moved here, I got an audition for a show for E-News, and I started doing Daily Pop when I got here. But like, I was banking on something.
Yeah, you
I was
just bet
banking
on yourself
myself.
and you're like, hopefully.
Exactly.
Hopefully. How did the conversation go when they were like, we want you full time?
I was in the airport on my way to vacation with my family for my dad's birthday. And I got a call from Neve. And obviously I'm not being filmed or anything. I'm just like in the airport. And I pick up the phone. I'm like, what's that? She's like, hey. And at this point I had done 6 episodes as a guest.
Okay.
And they had been like rotating different guests in and out. And he was just like, so how do you feel about being my co-host? And I was like, I am your co-host. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday for episode 7.
See you at work.
Right.
See you at work. And like, that was, I obviously was I cried boarding the plane. I was like, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, like what happened to this girl? She just got dumped or something. Cause I was like sobbing. I was so excited. And then it was the best. Cause when I got to my family we were in Turks and Caicos. When I got to Turks and Caicos with my family, like all my sisters were there and I got to tell them and they were screaming. They were so excited.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that when you had said it just felt normal, like this is meant to be. People say that all the time of like when you find the right person, you're like, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And so many people are like, that's so cliche. But the more that I hear for a lot of different things, I'm like, no, that is so true. When you just know and your body is at peace and it's just so natural, that's how you really know that it's meant to be. And years later, what, you're on 6 years now?
Yeah.
And that's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been, I mean, I cannot tell you enough about the people who watch this show and like the people who come up to me and feel like they're like, you're my best friend in my head. You always say like what I'm thinking. And like, that's my favorite compliment. And then those same people came and started listening to me on my podcast and like will follow me and support me wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, because they know that I'm always going to show up the same. The way that you see me on Catfish is the way that you're going to see me on my podcast or hear me. It's the way that you're going to see me if you meet me at Sephora, wherever I'm at in life. If we're in the line at the bathroom and I'm wasted.
Sorry.
You know,
Hey,
it's always going to be the same.
tune into my podcast.
Like, I'm always going to be the same no matter what. And I think that that's one of my favorite compliments too, is when people are like, oh my God, like you are exactly who you say you are. I'm like,
and I'm sure you meet people all day, every day where you're like, you are nothing like you are online.
I stay so far away from those people because they terrify me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you? How
do you have followers?
How do you have followers? And like, why? Why do we make the wrong people famous all the time? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I try to separate the content from the people. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. Going into the catfish world, what is something, when people are getting catfished, what is something that you've noticed that almost all of them have? You had said that they're all looking for love. What's advice to people that are out there looking and hoping that that's not their outcome? What's something that you would tell those people?
You know,
to not be on your show.
Yeah. If I call you,
oh
it's
shit,
bad. It's bad.
Could you imagine if that was what the DM was? By the way, your man is not your man.
By the way, I've got some information that you might want.
Right.
No.
We'll see
I don't
you in
believe
Minnesota
coming
next
to
week.
anyone as a woman. Like, don't come to me as a woman.
Hey, girly.
Please.
If it says hey, girly, I'm like,
please.
Oh,
hey, babe.
Just wanted to tell ya.
Just thought you should know. Save it.
Cries.
Thank you. Not interested in that. I don't know. I can talk a lot of shit about meeting people online and like the dangers of that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I met my boyfriend on an app. So like I understand, you know, being able to have a connection with somebody through a profile. That being said, my boyfriend and I met on the app, matched on the app, and the next day we went on our first date. So just in general, like if you're talking to somebody and it's taking them way too long to meet up with you in person, unless you live across the country from somebody, it shouldn't take that long for someone to actually like want to get to know you. I think
FaceTime even.
Yeah, I think that the main thing that I see a lot with people who come on the show who are likely getting catfished is like, and I think we all do this, but the excuses that people are willing to make for love, we've all done it. I've done it. Like, no, like he is really busy with work right now. Like that's why he hasn't called me in days. Or like he's just
if he wanted to, he would.
Emotionally unavailable right now because he just got out of a relationship. And okay, if he's too busy, he just got a relationship. He's got this. He's got that. He's got the third.
Swipe right on the next man.
He's probably not available to date you.
Him.
Like, I'm confused. We often, I think as women, we do this a lot. But we give so many passes, make so many excuses, and shortchange ourselves in relationships a lot, just for the sake of being loved. And I just don't feel like that's worth it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even answers the
No,
question.
I 1000%. I'm the same way. Or like I have girlfriends where I'm like, be so for real right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do you do it? And I'm like, again, going back into what we talked about in your episode, like we value ourselves. And if you value yourself at $1, you're going to get $1.
Yeah, exactly.
If you value yourself at $1 billion, who knows what might come.
Yeah. I had somebody on Twitter reach out to me, and I think she's reached out to me before because she was like, this is your Scorpio bestie asking for you to give me a pep talk again about like why I should stop talking to him. And I don't know the story. I don't know who it is, but I told her, I was like, when I was in a similar situation of like trying to figure out if I needed to cut somebody out of my life, a guy, I thought, how long am I going to allow him to think that I'm an idiot? How much longer am I going to allow him to think that I'm stupid? Because if you give somebody an inch, they're going to take a whole mile. Like if you give somebody a reason to believe that you are insecure, dumb, like that they can get over on you, why wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. So don't give them that pass.
Or the people that are like, well, I've been here for 5 years. I'm like, and you want to do another 5?
Yeah.
Like you're complaining about the first 5.
Yeah.
What about the next 5?
Exactly.
Like they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Or they're not changing.
It's not
Okay.
it.
So you touched on your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I just love you because you're always like, hint, hint. 8 years later, hint, hint.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, actually, this next time it's not a hint, hint. It's just a hint.
It's hint, hint.
Obviously you do that for a reason.
Yes. Yeah.
Explain that.
I think in my last relationship, I posted a lot about my relationship. I posted a lot of him. And it's funny because like I post so little about my relationship now that like articles will come out like, who's Kamie Crawford's boyfriend? Kamie Crawford is happily single. I'm like,
I'm confused.
I'm basically
Don't you just love reading about yourself on the online?
Oh my God, my net worth? Wow. Impressive.
Is it?
She's doing great work.
I love that for that, Kamie.
Yeah. I'm like,
go, Kamie, go.
how do I copy paste this into my account?
Right.
But yeah, I posted a lot. One, because it felt natural to, but two, because I was being pressured to post a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Like
By whom? Just followers or
followers,
him?
but also him. Like
Okay.
he would be offended if I didn't post something or like, why didn't you post that? Well,
do you think he was chasing a little bit of his own clout? Like, yeah. We love backriders.
He was a nut.
Yeah.
He was a nut. He was a Gemini.
Oh my God, that was your first mistake.
Yeah, exactly. I had no clue. I had
Kamie,
no idea.
Respectfully, you fucked up.
No, I fucked up.
It's okay.
Bad. Royally.
We can still be friends.
Disrespectfully, I
but
fucked up. Really bad. It's just not Scorpio men. Scorpio men too. But Gemini men are just like not the vibe. Anyway, and so yeah, he would get like, but he was insecure, and so he needed that kind of like validation of me posting all the time. And then I also realized that I was posting a lot when things were bad to make things look better than they actually were. And so it just was fake. Like it was fake. And I didn't realize that until I got out of it because I was just like, what the fuck? Like who am I doing this for? Like who am I actually doing this for? So then when I got out of that relationship, thank God, I obviously then had to share why I got out of that relationship or like that the relationship had ended because people want to know like, oh, why aren't you posting?
Yeah.
And then that was the other thing was like
you're
when
a character in your life.
Exactly. When I wasn't posting him, they would be like, oh, like I hope you guys didn't break up. You didn't post him for Valentine's Day or like it's 3 p.m. and I haven't seen a Valentine's Day post from you. I'm like,
then you feel like you have to prove something.
yeah, now I got to post this whole fucking collage with like some
We don't have
beautiful Maxwell
problems.
song.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we do have problems.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't ready to share about that yet. And so it just felt like a lot of pressure. And then when we did break up and I posted that we broke up, people were like, you guys gave me so much hope. I'm like,
I hate that comment.
I literally
You make me believe in love.
didn't show you shit about my relationship. Period. Like I showed you what I wanted you to see, but you don't actually know what this relationship was like for me.
Yeah.
So for you to be like hanging on to the hope of love based on that, sweetie, I have terrible, terrible news.
I have terrible news for you.
I have terrible, terrible news
I'm
for you.
sorry to break it to you.
Yeah. So then when I got into my new relationship, which isn't new now, it's been almost 2 years, but I was just like,
Summer is quickly approaching, and one of my favorite parts about summer is just sitting back on the porch, kicking my feet up, relaxing. And one of my favorite ways to relax is reading. I know it sounds silly because I feel like a lot of people don't know that about me, but I absolutely love to read, and I love Book of the Month. My current books from Book of the Month are The Paradise Problem and Middletide. I am super excited about this. Book of the Month is a service where they curate the best of the best books that are out right now. So their team literally reads through hundreds of books, and then they pick the top books that are on the market right now. And not only that, they're the most affordable on the market, and they deliver directly to your door for free shipping. Your girl loves free shipping, and I love free shipping directly to my door. So Book of the Month is sharing a code with humantoo listeners. You are going to go to bookofthemonth.com, and code PEDALS will get you $5 off your first month. I cannot recommend them enough because you just can't choose a bad book with them, because they are literally reading through all the best that's about to hit the market, and they're choosing the top of the top, and you can't go wrong. So I'm excited for you guys. Happy relaxation this summer, and let me know what book you choose. I'm currently in Middletide. Let me tell you guys, this one is good. It's very good. That is so wild to me.
I know.
I love that though. Just laugh. Hee hee.
I was just like full Scorpio mode. Like, this is for me. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, I am going to, if you respect me and you love me, then you will respect the fact that this is just
Does
for me.
he post you?
No, but he doesn't post.
Okay.
So I actually asked him because I was like, do you
if you
care?
were out there searching,
Well, they
your
found him.
search can be ended.
They found him.
Oh, they did?
They found him day one. I
Did
had
they?
a bunch of Virgos in my comments. Like,
Yeah,
bitch,
that makes sense. They always gotta know. They always gotta know.
we figured
Do you think
it
you'll
out.
ever be like, here, or are you just gonna drop the wedding photos?
You know what? Now
That would be iconic.
I've been saying that you will meet him at the aisle. That's
That
what
would
I've
be
been
iconic,
saying.
though. Not even the engagement, just like flat out. Like, people are just gonna see the ring and still not know, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
I've been thinking about it, but
That
now
would
it's
be
like,
so funny.
it's a bit now because I asked him. I was like, oh, when we have our first kid, like, I'm just gonna hold the baby in front of your face, but like the back of the baby's head too.
Yeah. Just full privacy moments.
Yes.
I kind of like that, though.
I kind of love it, but I know people are. I have a lot of respectful followers, which is great.
Yeah.
Like, my supporters are very much like, girl, like,
Do you have his
protect
name
your
blocked from the
peace.
comments?
There's no, his name is, well, he can still, he still comments. He's in there. If you want to find him,
You can find him. Virgos.
But like, I have had some people like send me screenshots of his profile and being like, stop posting half of his face. We found him already. You can tell me that you found him already without sending me screenshots of my man. I know what he looks like. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
I
looking
block
at his face all the
comments.
time.
I love blocking comments. People just feel like they need to just be like, hey, by the way, I know.
Yeah.
Someone had commented, what was it? I want to say our street that we lived on. And I was like,
That's
okay.
so weird.
And I'm just like, even if you know, what was the point in that? Like, are you
No.
cool?
No, I don't like that.
People
Or
are
I'll be on
weird.
vacation and they'll be like, oh my God, I love the Nobu and Cabo. And it's like, you can think that in your head without like typing that to me as a stranger.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like one of my friends, cool.
If there's a reason I'm not tagging or putting the location, yeah.
There's a reason.
I also feel like that's, so not my youngest brother, my middle brother, whom I'm the closest with, he's a Scorpio. And I feel like that's also
You're
a little
so
bit
lucky.
of like, I know, he's a little guy, he's just a little baby. But I think that's his little form of control where it's like, there's not much we can control in this life anymore. And I feel like you guys do have that little piece of like, if I can control this, I want to control this, because he's very private too. And it's so funny because I'm so public and now people know him and his name and they're like, oh my God. And sometimes he's like, wait, I actually hate this.
Yeah. I saw an interview that SZA did. She's also a Scorpio.
Okay.
And she was talking about how much she just hates being perceived. And like, I feel like that a lot too. Like, obviously I love when people come up to me because they've, you know, supported me or what have you. But it's when people don't come up to me, but I know that they are thinking that they watch me or they know me or they follow me. And I'm just like, just come up to me so I don't have to think about the fact that you might be or might not be staring at me because you've seen me on TV or something.
And then you feel like, sometimes I feel guilty. I feel like this like ego where I'm like,
Yeah.
bitch, be for real. They don't know who you are.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that's such an awkward
Yes.
thing. Or then they will come up and I'm like, see, I knew it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's so uncomfortable. Okay, give me advice on that because I actually do need a little bit of that. How did you like maneuver through that new world of like now you're broadcast everywhere.
Yeah.
People know you everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't have bad days anymore.
No.
What did that
Although
look like?
Although I
Yeah.
do. I think, so I was Miss Teen USA in 2010. And when I would be recognized, it would be by like pageant people. And then social media came to be a thing. And I would be recognized here and there by pageant people and people who might have followed me on social media. But like, it wasn't like how it is now. There are so many people who watch Catfish, thank God. But it's a completely different world now. I didn't realize until after COVID, because we recorded so many episodes during COVID and people were binge watching the show, of course, during COVID, because what the fuck else is there to do? And so I knew that things had changed when I would go out with a mask on and still be recognized. Because I was like, oh, shit.
Is it pretty much everywhere you go?
Yeah. Yeah. And that took it took a lot of therapy to like.
Really?
Yeah. Because I really just had to. When I was being recognized in the pageant space and I would be out and about, people would recognize me and they would expect a certain me to show up there.
The pageant girl.
The pageant girl. I had to be like a Disney princess.
Yeah.
I've never been that. I've only competed in, I would say, one pageant, but two. I did my state pageant and then I went to nationals and I ended up winning. So they were expecting some,
wow.
Yeah, Mother
like you have been
Teresa.
conditioned your whole life in the pageant world. Okay.
Yes, they were expecting something and I had to give it to them because if not, then people are disappointed. And then I had to be like, okay, well now I'm in a different place in my life, but what are people expecting? Like if I am having a bad day, do I get to just have a bad day or do I still need to give them bestie? Because that's what they're expecting. They're expecting their bestie when they meet me. And so my therapist had to, she had to teach me that like boundaries are a good thing. She was just like the Cameron that hangs out with her sisters and like has her best friend since high school and, you know, has her dog Biggie Smalls that now everybody on Catfish knows about. Like the Cameron that hangs out with her boyfriend and, you know, loves playing The Sims and like all of those things. Like that is
Sims.
I played a lot of Sims during COVID. Yeah, my whole life. But that Cameron,
She's human too, y'all.
she's human too. She's just like us. That Cameron is different from the Kamie who other people know from TV and from social media. That is the perception of you, but that's not the real you. And it's okay to have both and be like, today I just want to be Cameron. And like Kamie is like what other people, that's what other people get. But like who you are doesn't change because like this is a real you, but they don't need to know every single aspect of you. They're never going to know you in that kind of way. So I think when you are becoming someone who is more recognizable, it can be very strange. It can be very
It's
weird,
hard.
very scary. I remember when I was at my old apartment one day, I was like walking out to walk my dog and I had just opened the door and like stepped out. And this girl, shout out to her, she was in her car driving by and she rolled her window down. She was like, Kamie, I love you. And I had on a mask, but I had my dog who was on every episode of Catfish during COVID.
Apartment too.
And I was at my home.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like, this is so LA, first of all, like for this to even be happening to me. But also I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Then I was like, oh my God, this is my house. Like
She
this
knows
is where I live. Like
Yeah.
this is my sanctuary. And I'm very much of like my home is my sanctuary type of person.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people would be like, you should be happy that people even care to like talk to you and recognize you. And like, I am happy about that, but I'm also very protective of my space and now my relationship.
Yeah.
And I just want certain things to be for myself. I don't even post outside of my window. First of all, nobody should, but I don't even post outside of my window of my home because there are people who will find out where you live and like, there's no like privacy anymore for anything.
I want to tell you a story about that. It's kind of crazy, but I do want to say this. My therapist has also walked me through that two truths can exist at the same time. And we are living such a blessed life.
Yeah.
One that we wouldn't take back, but that also again comes at a cost. Our privacy is scary. There's times where like people will come up and they're so unbelievably intoxicated. And I'm like, one, you're 2 feet away from my face, not even 2 inches away from my face. Like, how do I act in that?
Yeah.
Where they're not like, oh wow, she's a bitch. And I'm like, no, but like you've crossed a very personal line too. So it's like, yes, do I love that someone has enough courage and loves me enough to come up to me? Yes. But that also doesn't mean that I'm not uncomfortable.
Yeah. People do grab me a lot.
The grabbing is definitely like...
Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, wee. Because like, I'm also like a, like, want to hug you person. But like, maybe ask for permission. I do have a lot of people who ask for permission. Like,
I've actually started to hug first. I've like, because I'm not a hugger at all.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten into the realm of like, if I hug them first, maybe that it makes me feel a little bit better about being touched.
Yeah.
But I was in Texas a year ago, and some girl like ran up behind us and like grabbed the back of my arm and like whipped me around. And it's funny because if anyone really knows like what my husband does for a job, like he's really had to unlearn that like basically friggin' FBI profile of like, don't even come within like a 5-foot radius, much less put your hands on us.
Yeah.
And so that's been really hard for him to learn too. So I think we've both had to like really put down a boundary there. But I want to tell you this. Okay, so when you brought up the privacy thing, this is so scary. There's a creator, I'm not going to say her name for her privacy, but she had posted on her close people, and I'm in it. Someone had found the blueprints to her home, posted it on Reddit. Not only that, then based on the videos that she's made inside of her home, they've been able to pinpoint which bedroom was which child's bedroom.
What the fuck are you doing?
Put on there.
Go to jail.
Okay,
immediately.
So she gets law enforcement involved.
Yeah.
I do believe that they found the person. They've been able to dig deep enough to find who started. It was another mom. It was a woman and a mother. I'm like,
I'm burning your house down, bitch.
No, literally.
Your whole family.
But stuff like that, and again, she posted it to like, she posted it to just her close friends. But I'm like, I almost wish people knew that like, yes, we can meet 100 people a day, but there's always one.
Yeah.
There's always one who doesn't mean well, and they're fucking batshit crazy. And it's like, it sucks for the other 100 that are amazing people, and you're like, I don't mean to be rude, and I cannot imagine at your scale.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I always think like, thank God I'm not like Kim Kardashian or like Beyonce, which like love them.
Yeah.
But like, I can't imagine what it is like to have every single waking moment be
security around you,
documented. I still like to be able to go to Target and frolic.
I was just about to ask you, can you still go to Target?
I still go.
Okay.
But I'll get stopped.
Yeah.
Or like somebody will like double take at me, and like I know what's going on. I mean, I want to think that it's just because I'm a bad bitch, but like probably not.
Right.
It's probably because of episode 705,051.
I know her.
So like I still do, and it does. That's why I say I'd rather people come up to me and say something, because there have been times when I've gone to like Home Goods or something, and then I get in my car and they're like, I just saw you in the towel aisle at Home Goods. I'm like,
yeah,
great. But like, come up to me, please. So I don't feel like I'm crazy, because it makes me feel like everybody's watching me. And some people might be like, oh my God, everybody's watching me. But like,
it's again, two truths can exist. And it's like, yeah, that's so cool that everything I've worked for has gotten me here, but that doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love meeting with like people who are just in their hometown. Nobody knows who they are minus their friends and family. But I also love meeting with big people as well, because it's like, you are human too. And like, I know that no shame in the plug name, but it's so real, where it's like, people are like, oh, that's just Kamie from MTV. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
That's one of my least favorite sayings to ever exist.
I have heard that so many times from people being like, this is what you asked for. If like people are, but not even about me, about like bigger celebrities. They'll be like, well, this is what they asked for. Like, they asked for this life.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you ask for your privacy to be invaded 24/7, for your children's privacy to be invaded 24/7, your family's privacy. Like, I feel truly that taking pictures of people, paparazzi pictures of them with their children, should be against the law.
I thought it was.
I think in the UK there's like rules around it,
but not in the US.
Crazy, because the UK press is off the chain, but like not in the US. And like coming up to somebody while they're walking with their kids, like, I can only imagine when, God willing, I have kids, I will fucking kill you on camera.
Right.
You
heard that. Run that back, y'all.
Film this
TMZ,
shit.
you heard her.
Film this. One of your people go missing, it was me. If
Yeah.
it was my kids,
It was
for
me.
you, it was
Not her
me.
incriminating herself 10 years down the
On
line.
tape. On tape. Because you should like protect what you hold
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
And like innocent children should not be subject to that. But I have gotten that where people are like, well, that's comes with the territory.
Yeah.
And it's like I not struggle with, but I have moments where I'm like grappling with gratitude because I'm so thankful for my job. I'm so thankful for everything that I have. And when I do have a bad day or when I am struggling or when I am super, super busy and I want to pull my weave out, I'm like, I should be so grateful. And it's like you were saying, two truths can exist at the same time. Like I can be tired. I can feel burnt out. And I can also be very grateful for the life that I've built for myself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me any less tired to then go back and be like, but I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Like,
I think and that relates to all women. Like how many women are like, since the day they're born, they're like, I just want to be a mom.
yeah.
I can't wait. And now they're stay-at-home moms and they're like, I'm fucking struggling.
Also me in the future.
This is so hard, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, but I'm so grateful. I have healthy kids. But that doesn't mean you're not exhausted.
Yeah.
And yeah, just because you prayed for this your whole life doesn't mean that it doesn't sting sometimes. And you're like, God, I just wish I could have a girls' day at a spa.
Yeah.
So
Or
I think
fucking
that-
margarita.
Yeah. The they should have the margaritas. I actually vote for the espresso martinis, but that's just
Espresso
me.
martini.
That's just me. They probably don't want the anxiety that
I
comes
know,
with the
they're like-
espresso.
Well, I feel like most moms that I know drink like 5 cups of coffee a day. So an espresso martini in the afternoon
I worry about their heart rates.
would be nice. Could be a nice
Actually,
little-
me with my ADHD meds, washing it down with a good old espresso. I'm like,
Yes.
why is my heart
perfect.
pounding like this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, perfect
makes sense.
cocktail.
What would you tell all women out there? Because you're all about female empowerment as well. And I love that about you. What would you tell all women out there that's like chasing your dreams again, two truths? If you could go back and teach yourself, say 10 years ago, 15 years ago when you were first starting out and speaking to her at that level, obviously you wouldn't take anything back, right?
Yeah. No.
I love that. Some people are like, no, I would go back and be like, don't do it, bitch. But I'm like, no, I would continue. I would say keep pushing.
Yeah.
What's some advice that you have for a younger self or other females out there that are listening?
I think I spent so much time preparing for the next thing and like, what's my next thing? Okay, I got this. Like, what's the next thing? I wasn't even thinking about where I was, that I would just say, and as corny as it sounds, like enjoy the journey. Like there are so many memories of incredible things and experiences that I had in the past that I don't even remember because I was so focused on the next thing. Half of my like Miss Teen USA journey, I couldn't even tell. Like I know I've been to certain places, but I don't feel like I can remember. And yes, I was like 17, 18, but
You still remember a lot at that
you
age.
still remember a
Yeah.
lot. But I was so focused on getting to school. At the time I wanted to be a dermatologist. So I was like, I need to get to
That's
school.
a fun fact.
Fun fact. Hey.
I love that.
I that's all I cared about. So I was just like, I need to get to school. I need to start with my, prerequisites so that I can get to my bio classes and like plot twist. Who gives a fuck? Now
Right.
nobody
Right.
cares. Like I'm in a completely
Well,
different
you do
place
have
in
great
life.
skin, so
Thank you.
there's something going for
That
you.
helps. I learned all about salicylic acid at a young age. But I don't have a lot of like core memories that I should have. I don't have because I was always, and my family, like my dad was always that person who was like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And I would be like 10 years old and he's talking about my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to play The Sims. That's all I hear about. I want to play
I'm
Grand
just
Theft Auto.
building my
I wanna play
life
The
over
Sims.
here, man.
I'm just building. I'm playing Cruise in the World and what's a Hotel Tycoon, whatever. Like I'm not thinking about.
Not tycoon.
I'm not thinking about my 5-year plan. I'm building a city.
Yeah. I'm busy, man. I'm actually going to school to be a carpenter.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm waiting for the blueprints for my new condo building on The Sims.
I'm a busy woman over here, man.
He didn't get it, but it always taught me to plan ahead, which is like a good thing. But then in certain scenarios, it's like, okay, you can plan ahead as much as you want. I was planning ahead to become a dermatologist. I'm a TV host with a podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Plot
completely
twist.
totally different life. And so, yeah, I would just say to just like enjoy the process. Like and I was so stuck on like, I need to be this at this time, like this age, like I should have this, I should be this, I should have all these accomplishments. But I didn't realize that the things that I thought that I wanted at certain times, I wasn't even ready for that. Like I wasn't even ready to accept that blessing. So it wouldn't have even mattered. If I got it that day, I would have fumbled it.
That's so powerful.
And it had happened to me before.
Yeah.
My first audition for E was years before I even stepped into the office, but I fumbled it. Thankfully, I ended up meeting my TV hosting coach who was actually running the audition.
So it was meant to happen, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Exactly.
At that moment.
When I thought it was.
Yeah.
Which I knew it wasn't right. I cried
Yeah.
the whole way to the audition. Not even from the audition. I cried on my way.
Wow.
I had my
But you were
grandma
meant
and my
to meet that
mom on a
person.
prayer line praying over me.
Please
And
pray.
I'm bawling in a cab on my way to the audition
How
because I
wild.
was not prepared. I wasn't ready. And luckily she didn't submit the audition because she was like, we have some work to do.
Your eyes are really puffy.
Yeah. She was like, you look like
you
you've been
might
sobbing.
be an
Are you
emotional
okay?
wreck.
I just wanted it so badly,
Yeah.
but I wasn't ready. So it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not ready. Like, just enjoy the journey, collect all the tools.
Yeah.
If anything, it's like, it's all for the plot. It's all for the story. Like, it will pay off in the long run. You just need more time. Like, you're not cooked yet.
I love that. Yeah. Stay in the oven.
You're
Just
still
a little
raw
bit
chicken,
low.
babe.
Yeah.
You
When
gotta bake.
it's actually funny, I met Raphael years before we actually got together and we went on a date, and I've told this story before, but we like left that like, okay. But I left there, didn't even know the man. I was like, I would tell anyone and everyone. I was like, I'm going to marry him. I was batshit crazy over him. I literally even said it in our vows. I was like, the people standing behind me, like, we probably aren't even believing this. Like, I still, like, don't even know how this is real. But I manifested the hell out of that big fella.
Yes.
He's big for no reason, but I say that to this day, where I'm like, if we were to have been together that day forward, we would not have worked because it just wasn't the time. Right person, wrong time is like, I don't necessarily always believe in that, but like, it goes for anything and everything. So I love that you said that. You just weren't ready.
No.
But if you have such a burning passion, keep chasing it because your time is coming eventually.
Yeah.
And I just think that's crazy that you said that. I'm like, that's just so powerful.
It's just a real thing.
Yeah.
And there will be things that come and go in the process.
Yeah.
And like, you have to allow for that.
And social media is just such a downer
vile
sometimes.
place.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you got to be married at this time. Shoot, if I was still in my hometown, I would have been married at 18 to the boy that I've never, like, you know, and I probably would be a mom by now and I would be miserable.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like that's the standard and I had to keep up. And as soon as I left, I'm like, wow, there's so much more world out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's amazing when you take your head out of your own ass, the things that you could see.
yeah. And when you were talking about enjoying the journey, I just shared on my Instagram story last night, just like a photo, but it was like one of my girlfriends had said this to me, and we believe in God. I don't care what anyone believes in, but and to each their own. I'm never preaching, but if God were to literally come down, right, and he were to sit in this room with us or whomever you believe in, and they were to be like, hey, over the next 5 months, we're gonna have a lot of rainstorms, but like, here's the end goal, and here's what's happening. You're on a beach in Tahiti, wherever you want to be, right? All your hopes and dreams are coming true. But I just need you to hold on for the next 5 months. We would be like, wait, I actually love this rainstorm. Like, I'm going to sit there and just enjoy every single piece of it.
Yeah.
Because I know, and that's just like faith. That's just all you can believe in, is just hoping that something is coming. And the more that you believe that, the good things do come.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a powerful thing that you shared, of like just enjoying the journey and enjoying the rainstorms. We all need them. I'm actually a huge advocate for rain and snow. Like, literally. I'm like, I love that it slows people down.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's snowing again. I'm like, no, sit in your house. Like, your job called you off
Hot
today.
cocoa, babe.
Yeah,
Relax.
enjoy the day.
Pick
like,
your feet up.
right. And
Turn the fireplace on.
it's just, I don't know. I just love that it slows people down. And
Yeah. I had a sign. I think I got it from Home Goods. And I don't remember the exact quote, but it said something about like, God doesn't calm the storm. He weathers the storm and calms his child, or something like that, about like, it's not going to go perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to clear up and everything's going to be bright and sunny, and it's going to be like, no good story comes with nothing in between. Like, no good journey comes with just everything happened and all the doors opened and everything was great. Like, you wouldn't learn anything. That's why we go through shitty relationships before we find our person.
Oh, 100%.
Because
and you need those lessons.
You need those lessons so you can appreciate your person. Like, I think about it way too often where I'm like, damn, like, why didn't I meet this man years ago? Like, why did it take so long to finally meet the man of my dreams. It's like if I would have had the man of my dreams before I met him,
he would have left my ass.
he would have left my ass.
You're a joke.
Quick. He would have been on like what are those Heelys? He would have been like, zoom, bye. Like
Not the
far
Heelys.
away from me, because I would not have been ready.
Yeah.
Like I was a crazy person.
Yeah.
I was crazy,
And he
when I
wasn't
met
ready
him.
either, I'm sure.
He wasn't ready
He was probably going
either.
through stuff.
I was still figuring things out, and there are still times I think when you're in a good relationship too, it teaches you a lot about yourself. And there were a lot of things that I had to unlearn and like
Oh, yeah.
figure out.
Yeah.
And luckily he has patience, and he's just the best. Oh, I love him. But yeah, I just, everything in its own good time.
Yeah.
Trust God's timing, the universe,
Whatever you believe
whatever you believe in, sis. Just trust the timing of your life. Like
Yeah.
trust yourself too. You're doing the right thing.
in. I just love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you
Just gonna squeeze ya.
I'm like little.
Cut
little
that clip.
clips.
We're getting that clipped up. I'm gonna replay that in my bedtime routine every night.
Yes.
Camie said she loved me.
I do. I can't believe you didn't think that I was really DMing you. That's
No,
crazy.
because I've heard that before, where it's like someone in your circle or like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, she would be a great one or something along those lines.
People say it to me, and I have often said no.
Yeah, people ask me like all the time if they're like, are you the one DMing me? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess people pay for like people to DM back and stuff.
No.
I'm like, okay.
I spent so much of my career being a one-woman show, like bringing
Yeah.
on help, having an assistant, having a team. Is not still new to me. I think I've settled it. I'm very much in my soft girl era, so I'm very much loving having people who are
To
helping
help,
me.
yeah. And so many people
but-
want so much where you're like, I can't do all
I
of
can't do
this.
everything. I can't do everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn out in a
Superwoman,
year.
but not like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I love it.
I love it too.
I love it.
I'm
I
glad
love
you
it.
answered.
No, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I literally was like, there's no way. There's no way.
That was me when I got hit up about Catfish. I was like,
Okay, so what's funny is LA wasn't booked at the time.
mm,
And we had been talking about like coming out here, and it actually had worked out because my girlfriend Anissa I was talking about, she's married to an NBA player, and he plays for the Wolves and whatever. And they're on like their week-long LA stint here.
oh,
And we were
nice.
talking about coming. And so I had messaged my manager back, and I was like, ask if these dates work because
Yeah.
this is too good to be true.
Yes.
And it worked out. So thanks for getting us a trip to LA.
Hey.
I was like, yeah,
Good
book
for
the flight.
something.
I love it. Well, thank you for being on. I
course.
love getting to know you. I love for other people who are out there listening to get to know you. And then also everyone, even if you're listening and you can't necessarily relate to being on a first class flight every 20 days or whatever the case may be, there's still so much behind every single person that's relatable in different ways. And that's why we do what we do.
That's why we do it, babe.
I love it.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Right. Right. And if you ever need to reach out to Camie for being catfished, I'm so sorry for you, but I
Yeah.
can't wait to see your episode.
I do have an email in my bio
Okay.
for Catfish specific.
I was going to say, where can they find you?
Well, on
Minus
everywhere.
MTV.
Yeah, exactly. Minus MTV. It's all social medias at Kamie Crawford, Kamie. The E is for a reason.
Okay.
It is a part of my name.
Okay.
People like to cut it off. They just put Kami. Like, when did I?
Yeah.
But it's right there.
Right.
I just don't like it. I don't know. Or they think
Justice
my
for
middle
the
name's
E.
Elizabeth. It's not. So at Kamie Crawford on everything, and yeah, I'm around.
I love it. And then we just did an episode on relationship together. So that will either be out or close to coming out at the same time. We talked about some grief. We talked about the family that we
family
love.
of it all.
Yes, we love it. So thank
Yes,
you. I'm
thank
excited to
you.
hear all this.
I know.
We'll
Relationship pod. Hey.
Right, relationship. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.